Chapter 2, the Heifer, page 28. To Moses we gave the book and sent a succession of messengers after him. We gave Jesus, son of Mary, clear signs and strengthened him with the Holy Spirit. But whenever a messenger came to you with something which you did not desire, you grew arrogant, calling some liars and slaying others. They say, our hearts are impenetrably wrapped against whatever you say, but God has rejected them for their denial. They have but little faith. Commentary by Maulana Wahiduddin Khan. The Torah was the book of God revealed to the Jews. Gradually, however, they ceased to treat it as a source of divine guidance and came to regard it as a sacred relic of their national heritage, a symbol of ethnic superiority. It became more a guarantee of salvation than a guide as to how salvation could be earned. After Moses, several prophets arose among the Jewish people: Joshua, David, Zechariah, John the Baptist, and finally Jesus, to name but a few, all of whom pointed out to the Jews that it was not enough just to revere the Torah as a holy book. Its teachings had to be actually practiced. It is futile to believe in the sacredness of the Holy Scriptures if one does not implement their message in one's everyday life. But the Jews, the very people who held the Torah in such high esteem, were extremely intolerant of the prophet's exhortations. The reason for such a reaction on their part was that they had allowed self-interest and worldly ambitions to rule their lives, while passing themselves off as bearers and upholders of the true faith. As long as religion served to consolidate their worldly status, they welcomed it, but were loath to accept the message of truth, presented to them in all its purity, which they saw as a threat to the hegemony they had secured for themselves on the basis of religion. It was their egoism which came in the way of true religiosity. Chapter 2, the Heifer, page 29. And now that a book has come to them from God, fulfilling that predictions about the final prophet in their scriptures, which is with them, they deny it. Whereas previously they used to pray for victory against the disbelievers, yet when there came to them that which they recognized as the truth, they rejected it. God's rejection is the due of all who deny the truth. What they have sold their souls for is evil, to the denial of God's own revelation, grudging that he should reveal his bounty to whom he chooses from among his servants. They have incurred wrath upon wrath. Humiliating punishment awaits those who deny the truth. Commentary by Maulana Wahiduddin Khan. Instead of being the first to believe in it, they rejected the message as well as the messenger, subjecting God's prophets to scorn and victimization. They called them impostors, and even went to the extent of killing them. The Jews of Arabia behaved similarly with the Prophet Muhammad. They had seen prophecies of the coming of a final prophet in their scriptures, and had eagerly anticipated his arrival. When he comes, they used to say, we will join with him in a grand alliance against the pagans and idolaters. But these proved to be empty words on their part, a pretense aimed at consolidating their status as undisputed guardians of divine faith. When the prophet came, the truth of their position was exposed. They were shown to be steeped in bigotry, reluctant to believe in a prophet who did not come from the Jewish race. They could not dispute the authentic indications presented by the Quran in support of his prophethood. All they could say was, it all sounds very impressive, but our ancestral religion is good enough for us. Our hearts are sealed, and we will not accept anything besides the faith we have inherited from our forefathers. Chapter 2, the Heifer, page 30. When they are told, believe in what God has revealed, they say, we believe in what was revealed to us, while they deny the truth in what has been sent down after that, even though it is the truth, confirming that which they already have. Say, why did you kill God's prophets in the past, if you were true believers? Moses came to you with clear signs, but in his absence you worshipped the calf and became wrongdoers. When we made a covenant with you and raised the mountain above you, saying, hold firmly to what we have given you and listen, you said, we hear, but we disobey, and their hearts were filled with the love of the calf, because of their refusal to acknowledge the truth. Say, to which your faith enjoins you if you are indeed believers. Commentary by Maulana Wahiduddin Khan. The Jews were not ready to accept the Quran because they thought they were already rightly guided. They were sure that the very fact that they belonged to the largest group of the followers of truth, that is, the Israelites, that would be enough to earn them salvation. But in fact, this was a feeling of ethnic superiority which they mistook for love of truth. The communal values of their group came to occupy the position of pure truth. That was why, when the truth appeared in its original form, they failed to accept it. Had their aim been to find pure truth, they would not have found it difficult, since predictions about it had appeared in their own sacred book, the Torah, to the effect that now it was the Quran that was the book of truth to be followed, and not the religion of their own group. Chapter 2, the Heifer, page 31. Say, if God's abode of the hereafter is for you alone, to the exclusion of all others, then wish for death if you are truthful. But they will never wish for death, because of what their own hands have sent on before them. God is fully aware of the wrongdoers. You will find them clinging to life more eagerly than any other people, even the polytheists. Any of them would wish to be given a life of 1,000 years, though even such a long life would not save them from our punishment, and God sees all that they do. Commentary by Maulana Wahiduddin Khan. The fact that the Israelites were not really concerned with truth is proved by their own history. It was they who had slain their own prophets, such as Zechariah and John the Baptist, the only reason for these actions being that these prophets had criticized the Israelites' mode of living and sought to bring them back to the divine way. Nehemiah 9:26. They had seen Moses perform undeniable miracles, but when he was not with them in person, having left them to spend 40 days on Mount Sinai, they started worshiping the golden calf. It had only been his personal authority which had kept them under control. When the mount was raised threateningly above their heads, they temporarily agreed to do all that the Lord hath spoken. Exodus 19:5, 8:16-18. But after that, most of them returned to their disobedient ways. If they had really been seeking God, their attention would have been entirely focused on the life after death. But in fact, they, more than all the others, were obsessed with the love of the present world.